More excited than me, aren't you? Stand up. Do something like that.
Hello everyone, I'm sure you'll agree, just an unbelievable night, and delighted to give to you for questions still the WBA and IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Froch.
Well, definitely. I mean, I said from the start this is potentially a legacy fight because I've had such a long, fantastic career. I've been involved in so many top level fights. I said my legacy was potentially at stake, and it was, because unfortunately in boxing people remember you for your last fight. I mean, you always remember greats like Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis because they were brilliant. A couple of them names like Holyfield and even Roy Jones Jr., who was one of the best fighters on the planet, skillful wise and speed. You look back on their career and say, you know what, he got beat by Grant Johnson, he got knocked out by Tarver, and he did this and that. And it sort of tarnishes their reputation as fighters, fantastic fighters. And I didn't want to go out of my career or finish my career, because my career would have been over. I would have retired if I'd have lost now. I didn't want to go out and be remembered in the biggest night in history, the biggest British fight in the history of boxing post-war. I didn't want to be remembered as being a loser. I take nothing away from George Groves, but you know, I came here tonight to win. And I lived like a month for 3 months, and I listened to everything Robert McCracken said for 3 months. It's been hard, my body through pain, but if you prepare correctly, you get the results. That's what I did.
Carl, you're allowed voluntary now. Will you take yourself to Vegas to fight?
I'm going to have the summer off and relax with my family before I even discuss what I'm doing with boxing. And that was one of the best nights in my whole career, in front of 80,000 at the National Stadium. So I don't have to make any decisions yet, and I'm not even going to think about it. If that fight there is all I do now in boxing, I will be a happy man. I'm not saying that's the end for me. What I'm saying is that for me will be hard to top. I don't know what Eddie can produce or offer me now that's going to be anything close to that. That was just unbelievable. But there is one box that's not ticked, and that's Las Vegas. All the greats before me have ticked that box in their career, they've been there, and I've not had my name up in the lights in the fight capital of the world. It would be nice to do that before I do decide to bow out. So we'll have to. I need a long thing. I just want to get back and have a beautiful summer with my beautiful family. And I've got Rachel, Rocco, and Natalia at home. I've not seen them for 3 months. I want to get that done, have a lovely summer, and then I want to sit down with Rob and Eddie and work out what we're going to do. But I don't need to make any decisions just yet.
So Carl, does that rule out the mandatory against the Gale then?
Well, Jim DeGale made himself mandatory. He fought well tonight and won, but I'm not in a position where I need to defend against the mandatory because I've just done that twice. So I've got a voluntary defence. I can fight Grant if I want.
Carl, considering the question marks over the first fight, how pleased you to
very, very sad. I know what you're going to say. It's one of the most satisfying nights of my life. I've had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I've had George Groves in the back of my ear hole for the last year, because it was in my ear hole for the Kessler fight, May 2013, now May 2014. I boxed Groves twice in a year, and I've just not heard the end of it. And I knew after the first fight, the response I got after 24 or 48 hours, that this fight was going to have to happen. And I said to Eddie, look, we're going to have to take this fight. Let's just sit back and just relax and think about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And Eddie's done a fantastic job, because, let's be honest, a National Stadium full tonight, the occasion the way it was, there's not many men. I don't want to blow too much smoke up Eddie's arm. But what a great job he's done putting this event on. It's just fantastic. Round of applause for Eddie. Put this together tonight, and it's not just me. I'm doing the fighting, but I've got a team behind me. I've got Eddie doing the promoting, and Robert McCracken, he's my puppet master. You know, he pulls the strings, and I move to his jingles. It's as simple as that. We've got a great team, and tonight we put the result out the bag that I knew I was going to get, because I prepared so well. Myself through hell for 3 months, been away from my family. And I've, you know, you say you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. I prepared to win. So I came here so confident, relaxed in the changing room beforehand. I'm so happy and just. I had an hour's, tried to get an hour's sleep early, usually when I'm lying in my bed an hour, fight day, trying to sleep, can never sleep. But I get a good rest and I shut my eyes and I think about the urine, I think about the fight, I'm a bit deep now, but I'll just talk you through it. And as I'm thinking and concentrating, I'm thinking about the ring walk, getting in the ring, the tactics. My heart starts beating on the inside of my chest and I can, when I'm breathing, I can feel my heart interrupting my breathing pattern. And I was doing that today. But I was happy, and I calmed my heart rate down, and I was confident. I thought, you know what, I've done the hard work. This is all going to slide into place. And I was like, the nerves left me. I visualised walking into the ring. I visualised giving George Groves my back, because I didn't want to stare at him for the whole announcement. And I gave him my back. I didn't look at him, because I didn't want to look at him. And I just stuck to the game plan. I listened to Rob, threw my jab, didn't rush in. Tactically, I was perfect. I got him with a few shots, because George Groves is a good fighter, he's very fast, he can punch a bit as well. But it just all came together like we planned, executed the game plan perfectly. I couldn't be happier. And next question.
How did you feel it was going in there?
I thought it was close. I feel I was probably one, maybe 2 rounds ahead. I don't know what the score is. I think I was at least 1 or 2 rounds ahead. Some of the rounds I could have scored either way. I can remember losing rounds 6 or 7 because I got hit with a couple of silly shots. But I was behind the jab, doing what I wanted to do. But I wasn't being busy enough. I was starting to back him up. I wasn't backing him up enough, but like I said, he's got quick hands. So I thought I was winning, thought I was in front, but I knew the shot was going to come. I knew as soon as I closed the gap and I got him in range and I was working, I knew he was in trouble. He started breathing heavy, I was hurting him. So it was a matter of time. What was it, round 8? So there's still another 4 and a bit rounds left. That's the best part of 13 minutes. It's a long time to be in front of me with them little gloves on.
Was that the best punch you ever landed? I remember you knocking McGee out.
I think that was a great little uppercut I landed on McGee with a broken hand, not to knock him out. But no, that was probably one of the best punches because how do you define a good punch? What it means and what that meant was the whole George Groves saga and the history of the fight, the way people are going to look back on it in years to come. That was the right hand that finished the job. So yeah, that was the best punch I've thrown in my life.
Did you see him open for that shot? Through the fight up until then?
I saw the shot before I came, yeah, definitely. I went over the top of his head with that right hand a couple of times. I got my feet under my body, kept my centre of gravity good, like the master told me to do. And I've been keeping my feet under me for 12 weeks. Every now and again I stepped in behind the right hand and leave myself square on and come in flush, which is what I did in the first round of the last fight with George. And I've corrected that over 3 months of training and listening to Rob. And that punch just came, I just threw it. I didn't really try and knock him out, I didn't load up, I just threw the punch and just landed lovely. It was just a lovely, perfect fairway shot and it closed the show and that's what world class fighters do.
George said he couldn't remember what you said to him at the end, Carl. What did you say to him?
I said he's young, he's very talented, skillful, he can come again, don't sort of go home and be too down and out and depressed and don't sort of go on a downward spiral because you're a great fighter, he was in that fight right up until that point. So I punched very hard. Unfortunately, you know, I caught you with a shot that finished you off, and that's boxing. It happens to some of the great fighters. You get hit with one shot. He's not quite got that toughness, George, which you need at top level. And I said that from the start anyway. You know, he's a good fighter. He's got quick hands. He's skillful. He's done a few bits as an amateur. But I just think that if I fight George Groves 10 times, I'll beat him 10 times. And that's not being big-headed. That's just because I've got ingredients that you can't teach, you know, you're born with them, and it's toughness and heart, and a mindset and a determination. You can't train them. You know, I'm spiteful and I'm disciplined, and when I prepare correctly and I listen to Rob and do things right, they're the results. I've been saying it for the last probably 6 months that when I fight George Groves, I'll knock him out between round 6 and 9, and I've knocked him out in round 8. It was coming. But early on I boxed. I used the boxing skills that that won me 2 ABA titles and the first man to win an amateur bronze medal. People don't think I can box, they don't think I'm a warmonger and I like to get in there and get Mickey Ward, get stuck in and have a fight and a tear up, which I do, I enjoy that. But I can box behind the jab effectively. And I showed that tonight against somebody who's actually faster than me.
What was it as well as Carl's boxed?
You think? I don't know. I'd have to have a look at it. I think he's boxed probably better before, but very difficult opponent, very quick and very good rear hand, very dangerous with it, and he kind of stops you coming in, George. But Carl applied himself in training for the last 3 months, and he worked hard and he stuck to the plan. And eventually, it was about closing the distance, and we keep George moving, and eventually the distance will shorten, and then the shots will be there. And I think that was the plan, and it kind of worked.
Rob, we've seen Carl win fights with 12 rounds of brilliant stuff. We've seen him win with flurries of punches. Has that big one right hand been something that he works on continuously?
Well, you practice everything. I'd be a liar to say we constantly. We practiced it a lot. We practiced the left hook a lot, and we practiced his body shots, which I think, in fairness, were a lot quicker than they were last time. He was pretty rapid when he got anywhere near George with the body punching. I think that slowed George down a little bit, but Carl Froch is a tremendous fighter. He's a prize fighter. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight, and he knows how to win at the elite level, and he's done that over the last 6 years consecutively. And you know, he went on to do that tonight. But you know, Groves is a tremendous prospect. I'm sure he'll come again.
Carl, one of the things you said last week was that George would never be a world champion. Have you changed your mind? Were you just saying that, or do you still believe that's the case?
Well, I just said it earlier, you know, he's missing one of the ingredients of toughness at top level, and I just think that when he comes under fire and comes under pressure and starts taking shots like that, he needs to be able to stand up to it. So he still needs to prove to me that he can take more than one right hand off a top level fighter. I'm a heavy puncher, I'm a concussive puncher, but I'm not a one punch knockout man. I'm not Julian Jackson or Mike Tyson. You know, my shots hurt. I flattened him tonight there, and I was, you know, I'm not taking anything away from him. But
I think in fairness to George, I think he's took the fight still relatively early in his career, and he's just jumped in with Carl Froch, and it doesn't get any tougher, really, does it? Let's be honest. I think, in fairness to him, I think he's capable. I think Carl would agree he's capable of winning the World Championships, just not against Carl Froch or, you know, possibly an Andre Ward. But you know, there's other fighters he could possibly beat for a world title and become a world champion.
Yeah, second. That's about level. You know, you can beat certain champions, certain level of world champion. You can definitely become a world champion. Yeah, to answer your question.
Well, nights like tonight, toughen him up.
Sorry.
Nights like tonight, and nights like toughen him up.
Nights like tonight can ruin a fighter and end them, finish their career. You know what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That could kill him. It could, you know, I shouldn't use that word. You know what I mean? It could finish him off, or it could get determination from that and come back better. It's down to his character now, down to him. But I would like to give him advice. I don't think he likes me.
Carl, you've had really great support from people in Nottingham, you know, great numbers tonight. Just any words for them?
Unbelievable support from the British public, not just for me, for the whole event. I mean, this is the biggest fight post-war to take place on British soil, and it was a grudge match, domestic, and everybody got behind it. It didn't just capture the boxing public, it captured the British public, the non-boxing fan, the armchair fan. They've all come out and watched and supported this. So big thanks to the British public for getting behind. I'm not going to take all the credit for it. They didn't just come out to see me, they came out to see George Groves and the fight for 2 world titles in a great British affair, a massive dust-up, and they had a bit of needle and animosity. So all the ingredients have been great.
Can you say that you're a national superstar now?
Am I allowed to say I'm an international superstar? I can be a national superstar. What about international?
Carl, what have you learned, Carl, from these 2 fights about yourself? What have you learned, you know, the way you prepared? Almost you're 36 now, and yet you've learned a lesson you can't take anyone for granted.
I think that's what I learned. Don't take it for granted. I'm at the top of my game, world champion, and if you take the foot off the gas and think, you know what, I've got to do is turn it on, you come and strong. Hard work, hard to get to the top, it's just as hard to stay at the top. So I've learned that, you know, every time I fight, I need to prepare as hard every time. You can't just turn up, you've got to put the work in.
In terms of the sport and the show you've put on tonight, what do you think this will do for boxing in this country?
I think it's great for boxing. It's putting boxing on a pedestal, putting on a massive platform, and a lot of people that don't watch boxing have watched it tonight, and I think they'll enjoy what they see. So it's great. It's fantastic. It's honourable for me to be able to do that for my sport that I love. I've dedicated my life, heart and soul into.
Eddie, what do you see the next step for you?
That's something that Rob and Carl will always decide. I think it's difficult when the dust has settled from tonight for him to, like you said, it's got to be something that makes him get out of bed early in the morning and do his hill run. It's got to be something that drives him. And he's a very self-motivated man anyways, but I know how much he put into that fight tonight, and he put everything into the camp and everything into the fight. And we had a chat at his flat today, and I said, it's as sad as it is, this fight means so much because this is what you're going to be remembered for. And he heaped so much pressure on himself that he's really time, like I said, he's had George Groves in his head and his ear for a year now, and it's time for him to have a lovely summer break and for me to carve out any opportunities and present them to Rob and Carl. And if they float his boat, then I'm sure he'll fight again. If they don't, who knows?
So to assume that the mandatory challenge in James Gales is unlikely at this point?
Not necessarily, if it's a big enough fight. I mean, again, he won't know if that floats his boat till we sit down, look at the numbers and look at the potential of the fight. James is a mandatory challenger and he'll be doing everything he can to push his position. Carl has had back-to-back mandatories forced on him by the IBF, but also Carl doesn't box that often because he boxes twice a year really. So again, it's far too early to look at anything like that. I think James is a great young fighter and he'll definitely get his world title shot. And I'll go away and look at the landscape, and when Carl's had a great holiday, I'll present the opportunities to him. And if he likes what he sees, I guess he'll fight again. If he doesn't, then who knows?
Do you like the lights of the strip though, Eddie?
It's a silly question. but no, listen, he deserves a big night in Vegas. And of course the Chavez fight, we looked at it prior to this fight. Golovkin, and always the opportunity of a dual pay-per-view is something that definitely whets the appetite of a promoter, and I know it definitely whets the appetite for Carl Froch. An HBO pay-per-view and a Sky box office pay-per-view. Again, it's a decision for Rob and for Carl. It's just my job to present the opportunities, and if they like what they see, no doubt we'll go again.
It's a very exciting fight as well, though, in terms of the styles of the two now, isn't it?
Yeah, Chavez is still a huge name, but again, honestly, tonight is about drawing a line through that, enjoying a great night for British boxing, and finishing a little era for Carl Froch of this. And listen, it takes two to tango, and George Groves promoting this fight has been absolutely fantastic. He's made it the big event just as much potentially as Carl Froch. So you've got to take your hat off to him, and I'm sure he'll come again. But there was so much pressure on Carl Froch tonight, and if he would have lost tonight, would have been gutting, and you just can't keep him down.
Have you taken Howard Foster out for dinner yet?
No, that's a silly question because a referee has to act instantly, and I think what you saw tonight was that George Groves has the ability to be hurt, and he was definitely hurt tonight, and this is a very tough game. So I still back Howard Foster's decision, and that's that.
Eddie, following on from tonight, not to put any shadow at all over what Cole's achieved and what James achieved tonight. When you see that, when you're the promoter in the middle of that tonight, you look around, there's 80,000 people, it's an amazing atmosphere, it's electric. Does it give you more desire to get those fights made that need to be made? The Frampton fight against Quigg, the Bellew and the Cleverly fight in a big stadium. Of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it hasn't sunk in yet tonight because my heart and soul's in Carl. I just wanted him to win. I didn't really get a chance to take it in. I looked back to my memory just before he walked out. I looked at the screen and I just thought, wow. But of course, listen, there's 3 fights I'd love to make: Brook, Frampton, Quigg, Bellew, Cleverly. Could make them all this year, but it's not always that easy. But what that shows you is, if you, as a salesman, if you've got the right product, you're going to sell it.
But could you not put those 3 fights on a Wembley again, for example, all together?
And have beer first. We've got big plans. We've got big plans, and we're relentless, and we don't want to stop there. And that doesn't satisfy me enough to just stop. So.
How much does this mean to you? This night, as a result, the big shift in
I was I was involved in big fights before that Glenn Johnson fight. That's just the way I worked out in America. I mean, I fought in front of 10,000 in Nottingham probably a year before that, and I fought Mikkel Kessler in front of 12,000 in Denmark. But this fight is the biggest and best fight I've ever been involved in. It's massive. Words can't describe it. I mean, it's an obvious answer. I think everybody knows how big this is, and I've explained it a few times. It's the magnitude of it is fantastic, and this is the best night in the history of my whole career. Bar no fights, and I've been involved in some unbelievable fights. 80,000 at the National Stadium. It's going to be difficult to beat in any stretch of the imagination. I don't know how that can be beaten, to be honest.
How do you stay motivated?
I'll stay motivated. There's different goals and aims, and there's the rematches out there for me. There's different bouts, and there's like we talked about Vegas. But the motivation comes from the desire to still want to fight, it's the enjoyment of the training. And when that goes, it's not about a financial gain or belt. It's about wanting to do something before I do decide time is running up. I'm still a young man at 36. I've got the rest of my life to live. And I'm sure I'll look back in 5 or 6 years when Rachel's nagging me and the kids are going mental, and I think, why am I still in that gym? It's in the bag. I want to be back in the gym. So while I'm here, I'm going to relish it and enjoy it, and if I can still fight, I'm going to continue to fight. But at the minute, it's difficult to top this evening. This evening is just unbelievable. This is like the pinnacle of my career. And setting the score in a grudge match and getting the whole weight of the world and putting the whole George Grove saga behind me in such a satisfying manner, I'm just going to be smiling for the whole summer and for the next 10 years.
And an even bigger victory outside of the ring tonight.
What was that? Well, there's no official proposal, but we did make a decision that one day we will get married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. There's no official proposal. I want to propose to Rachel in my own time when I've got a ring, and I'd like the kids to be there as well, actually. But Rachel's the one for me. I'll be there. I'm going to cry, right?
Carl, you've got two belts there. When you look at the other champions, you think that there's genuine unity there for you, the British boxing.
Sakio Biko, WBC champ. Arthur Abraham. Yeah, I've already been down that road. Yeah, I mean, there's two names.
Sorry, you can fight.
No, it is.
Yeah, let's put that in birthday.
I've got two of them.
No, I don't need to have two. We have to have three.
Let me have three. Let me take yours up in as well. How you doing, Sakio? Alright? And there's another potential name, Sakio Bika. He's dying for it, as you can see.
I'm not dying.
So you don't want to fight, huh?
I want to fight.
Yeah, but what you know?
Just next to me,
It's definitely an option, definitely. I mean, he's a great fighter, tough, strong man. Fought Calzaghe.
Yeah.
Fought Calzaghe. A lot of people remember that. There's another potential name, potential option, but I do the fighting, he does the matching. So I'll let him have the argument with me.
One thing you'll see is every man needs dog run to fight Carl Froch, because as I've said before, he's the money in the super middleweight division. And I think he's shown that tonight. So I'm sure there'll be an orderly queue. Sakio's a great fighter. I'll go away and look at the opportunities and present them to Carl. Just a quick thank you to all the media. I mean, I really appreciate the way you've embraced this. I hope everyone's enjoyed the show. I hope for many more, and I hope the boxing writers have enjoyed finally getting what they want from their editors. So thanks a lot for all your support.
I'd like to second that. There's been some blanket coverage, there's been some fantastic pieces in all the papers. I'm not going to individually name them all, but there's people that work closely with me and talk to me and tell me interviews, and it's been fantastic coverage. Great for the British boxing, great for my sport, great for Eddie, and yeah, big thanks to all the media. Hopefully we'll get some spreads tomorrow and on Monday. But yeah, thanks to all you guys, because you stick around and you followed me around the world for years, and you're coming good now. It took a long time, but you're coming good.